on the top of Chavzayin on the base, Hub is Mancha Bal Modeh. If the Baal is Modeh that he already divorced her, then Mias Yachzil Isha, we can return the get to the Isha, Fiu Lacher Zman Meruba. And we're not Choshesh at all that maybe somebody else dropped this get and he had the same name. Again, the same kasha that we asked before in the name of Tosfos is going to be asked here. What's the Gemara is asking us here? If the Baal is Moda, we know that she was divorced. The issue of giving her the get is only that she should have a raya. What difference does it make whether this is the right get or the wrong get? It doesn't make a bit of a difference. Okay, in any event. Umeshani and Reb Zera answers, Kan b'mokum shasharos mitzuyos, Kan b'mokum shein shayaros mitzuyos. And our Mishnah, we're afraid that maybe somebody else dropped a get because there are plenty of shayaros. And maybe amongst the shayaros was a person who has the same identical name and he dropped his get. But in the Brisa, we're not going to be afraid that somebody else with the same name dropped a get. And now we have a question whether Reb Zera accepted Rabbah, and you have to add the other condition of Huchsaku. Ikadiyam, going to one version, one transmission of Reb Zera, Vehu. When does Reb Zera say we don't return the get after Zman Meruba? That's only Huchsaku when not only it was Shayaros Mitzuyas, but it was also Huchsaku Shnei Yosef and Shebeir, Hu de lo Mahader, V'hainu de Rabba, or Ika Diamri, another possible version of Rabbi Zera is Afagav de lo Huchsaku. We cannot return the get, even if it's a case of lo Huchsaku, lo Lahader, we don't give it back after Zman, after Liachar Zman, unless it was Lialter, and we're afraid that maybe there's some sort of city out there, another city that has a person with the same name. Upliga de Rabba, even though we don't know for sure that there's another person that has the same name, nevertheless, we will not return the get. Gemara says, Bishlam the Rabba lo Omer Rabbi Zera. Why is it that Rabba asked the stira from the Mishnah here to the Mishnah Bab Mitzia, rather than asking a kasha like Rabbi Zera from the Brisa? That's a very simple thing. Masnisen alima leilak shuye. The ikar is the Mishnah. Now Brisa is secondary. So if you have a kasha from a Mishnah, then for sure you want to prefer asking a stronger kasha from the Mishnah. However, El Rab Zera, my time aloma karaba. Why didn't he ask a stira from two Mishnayos? Allah, Rab Zera says that from the Mishnah Matzah Gittin Noshim, which was the Mishnah Bab Mitzia, you can't ask a kasha on that Mishnah. Why? Mik Tani, does it say in the Mishnah, Im Amar Tnu Nostim Afilu Lizman Meruba? The Mishnah didn't add that clause of Afilu Lizman Meruba. And it was only a diak of Rabbah from the Mishnah that since the Mishnah didn't make any distinction or any qualification, that we assume it's even Lizman Meruba. And as long as we know that the Baal was not Nimlach, and he says, yeah, I want to divorce my wife, and I already did, then we can return the get even Liachar Zman Meruba. But it doesn't say Liachar Zman Meruba in the Mishnah in Bab Mitzia. And therefore, Dilma, it's possible that when what the Mishnah is referring to, Omar Tnu Nosim Kidikaim Elon Lialta, that if the Baal says, yeah, give her the get, then we can give the get back to the Isha, but only if it's Lialta. But if it's Liachar Zman Meruba, we would not return the get because we're afraid that it fell from someone else, and that would be perfectly in line with that mission. So therefore, if Zera only asked the cash from the Brisa, the Brisa says explicitly that the Baal was Moda and Yachzel Isha. Now, if the Baal is Moda Yachzel Isha, if it's Lialta, then Pshita. I mean, number one, the Baal is Moda that it fell from the Isha. Number two, they found the get immediately. So why would the Brisa have to tell me anything Dusha? It must be that the Brisa is referring to even Liachar Zman Meruba. And therefore, Reb Zera asked his cash from the Brisa. Now the Gemara is going to give alternative answers to reconcile our Mishnah with the Mishnah that Rabbah asked a stira from, meaning the Mishnah Bab Mitzia, or from the Brisa that Reb Zera asked the stira from. Reb Zera Omar, Don't ask a kasha, not from the Mishnah, not from the Brisa, because even though liachar zman meruba you could be machzor the get, that's kigon de ka'amri edeme olam lo chasamnu el al gabi echad shel Yosef. I'll get echad shel Yosef. The case in which we are allowed, by virtue of the Mishnah in Babetzia, the way Rabbah was medayik in the Mishnah, or by virtue of Rav Zera's price to return the get, that's where the Edom who was signed on the get testify to the fact that they never signed a second get with that same name. There was only one get in their whole lifetime that they signed. And therefore, even after Zman Meruba, we're not going to be choshesh that maybe there's somebody else who has the same name and dropped a get, because it wouldn't have these two chasimas on it, because those Edom who were signed on the get testify that this is the only get that they signed on. So the Gemara asks, I don't get it. What's the chiddush of the Mishnah or the Brisa that we return the get if the Edom themselves say this is the only get we ever signed on? There was never a second get with the same names. Mao, the Gemara says, I might have entertained the idea that Lefish Dilmas Rami Shma Kishma Ve'edim Kedim. Maybe not only is there another get that has the same names, but it has the same names of the Edom. Again, it's not these Edom, but it's another pair of Edom with the same names. And again, it's mind-boggling to think statistically, what are the possibilities that this would happen? That there's another get that has exactly the same name of the Baal, identical name of the Isha, and the identical name of the two Edom. But that was the Havamim. But Mashmalon, the Mishnah of Bryce want to tell us that no, we're allowed to return the get, even after Zman Meruba, if the Edom say, we testify to the fact that this was the only get with those names that we ever signed. Now Rav Ashi has another answer. In order to reconcile the Mishnah with the Bryce or the Mishnah with the other Mishnah, Kigon the Ka'amar, that the Shliach who lost the get has a Simon, Nekev Yeshbo B'tzados Plonis. There's a hole on the get near one particular letter. He identifies the letter. The Havile Simon Muvak. That's what we call a Simon Muvak. So in the Gemara Babetzia, we have an issue about two types of Simonim. There's a Simon Muvak, which is an absolute proof, and a Simon She'ena Muvak, a regular Simon. So the Gemara says, B'dafka, according to Rav Ashi, when do we return the get to the Shliach who identifies the Nekev? That's only B'tzados Plonis. Not that there was a Nekev on the get. That's not enough, according to Rav Ashi, to return the get to the Shliach. He's got to say exactly where that Nekev was. The Havi Le'Siva Muvah. Al Nekev B'Alma, if he says that somewhere on the get there's a Nekev, and he doesn't remember where on the get is the Nekev, lo, we're not going to rely on him. Because Rav Ashi doesn't know the following. There are two shittas about Simonim. One is Simonim Doraisa, and one is Simonim Darabanan. According to the shita that Simonim Lav Doraisa, it means the Rabbanan made this takana, this institution of returning a get with Simonim. And either Rabbananu, Rav Ashi is worried about the possibility that the entire enterprise of Simonim to return an Aveda b'Simonim is all a Takanis Chachamim based on Hefker Bezin Hefker. And on a Torah level, on a Deraisa level, you need a Simon Muvhak, and we're not going to rely on a regular Simon. So that in Aveda, Yeshkoch B'Yad Chachamim, they could be Machzir and Aveda with a regular Simon because of Hefker Bezin Hefker. But now we're dealing with an Eishes Ish. We're going to give this get over to the Shliach, and he's going to deliver it to the Isha. Now you're dealing with being Matur and Eishes Ish through this get. The Rabbanan don't have the koach, they don't have the authority to rely on a Simon She'eno Muvak, which is only a Takanis Chacham going to this tzad, and return a get to the Shliach. Rabbi Bar Rachana was a shliach to bring a get, the irkas le'gita be'midrash, and he lost the get in the base medrash. And the Bnei Yeshiva found this get. Omar, Rabbi Bar Rachana identified the get with the Simon. Isimana isli begave. If I can prove to you that I identify a siman on the get, then you have to return the get to me based on a siman. Alternatively, if I don't have a siman, itvias ena isli begave adru anila. And you know what? Even in the absence of a siman, I know that that's my get. I can identify the get. So even without a siman, you have to return me the get. V'adru anila, and they gave him back the get. Omar Rabbi Rechana declared, "Lo yadana." I don't know why the Talmidim agreed to give me back the get. Was it mishum simona hadru? Because I identified the get with a simon? Because savri simonim doraisa, and we're talking about a case of a simon she'ena mufak, but we're going to accept that view that simonim are doraisa, and therefore even to be matu neshasish, we can return the get b'simonim, or maybe that's not it. You know why they agreed to return the get to me? Mishum tvias ena, because I can identify, and that's what I did, the get. This is my get. V'davka tzur mirabban. Oh, then we have a basic nafkamina. Let's say a regular run-of-the-mill person, rank and file, would come forward with a sima. We would not return him the get if we hold that the only reason they return the get to Rabbi Bar Chana is because of tvias ena. Because tvias ena is dafka l'tzur mirabana, only to budding scholars. Then we trust them. We're not choshesh for sheker, and therefore with tvias ayin we can rest assured that we can return it. Aval the alma, but if it was a rank and file person who's not a tzur mirabana low, we would not be machzer get with tvias ayin. And then we'd have the issue, can we master the get based on simanim, if simanim are lavdo raisa, and therefore we cannot be mater neshasish. The Mishnah says that if you found the get immediately, the get is koshim lav posel, what is lialta? Torah rabbanan ezu shalo lialta. Or what is too late? It's liachar zman. And here we have a bunch of shitos. Rabbi Nosson Omer sheshah, between the time that he lost the get until they found it was how much time passed? Kidei shetavar shayara v'tishra. Now the word tishra, like in shchita is shora, it means to set up tent, so to speak. Lachno shon. So how long would it take for a shayara, a caravan, to set up shop for the night? That's the shita of Rabbi Nosson. Now we get to the shita of Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. Hidei Adam omed v'rosh lo ovar sham Adam. That the time passed since he lost the get, that a person who's standing there at the place where the get was lost, I'm not talking about the shliach, I'm talking about somebody else, and he could see that nobody else passed. Yesh Omrim, a third shita, shalo sha adam sham, that from the time that the shliach went and lost the get, we didn't find anyone who came by. So it couldn't have been dropped by someone else. Rabbi Omer, what's the shir? Kidei liftovus I get. How long would it take to write the get? Rabbi Yitzchak Omer kidei likrosa. How long would it take to read the get? Acherib Omer, the shir is kidei likosvo ulakrosa. How long would it take to write the get and read the get? If that period of time passed, it's no longer lialta, it's liachar zman meruba. And the Bryce says afilu shah the yeshbo simonim eidim olav. If it was after lialta and it was liachar zman meruba, nevertheless we can return the get b'simonim mufhakim. And what's an example of simonim mufhakim? The amri nekev yeshbo b'tzados plums. They can identify that there was a hole in the get right next to the aleph, the beis, whatever letter it is. The ein me'idin al simone aguf. But if he describes the size of the get, for example, the amri aroch, it's a very long get, or if it's a very short get, that's not called a siman at all. There are many gittin that are either long or short. Mitzol kosher b'kis, if he found the get that was tied up in a pocket, or bi'arniki v'tabas, so the get was inside or tied up together with something else, a kli, and he recognizes the kli, or the kiss, the arniki. And now on the top of Chav Ches, Oshem Mitzo ben Kalov, he finds the get amongst the various utensils in his house, up in the attic or wherever he keeps them. In all these cases, then we have a sima muvak, and we can return the get afilu liachar zman meruba. Gosh. So this leads us to Itmarav Yehuda Mar Shmuel, which in Mirz Hashem we'll pick up tomorrow at 7:15. Okay, then, wishing you a great day. Thank you so much.